Standard 6, Subject Civics, Chapter 2, Diversity in Society. In this chapter, we shall learn about the following points. First, diversity is our strength. Second, the principle of secularism. Third, the contribution of society to our development. And fourth, regulation of society. Dear students, there are many languages, religions, cultures, customs, and traditions in Indian society, and we all are aware about these different traditions, right? This diversity, that means this difference, is a mark of our rich cultural heritage. We proudly say in our pledge that I am proud of its rich and varied heritage, isn't it? We live among people who speak different languages such as Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, Bengali, Hindi, Gujarati, Urdu, etc. They celebrate their festivals and cultural events in different ways. Their modes of worship are also different. Our country consists of regions with different historical legacies where this diversity is shared and celebrated. As all these different communities in our country have lived together for many, many years, a feeling of oneness has developed among them. This feeling of oneness leads to unity in Indian society, which we call unity in diversity. So let's learn about the first point, that is, diversity is our strength. To live with different groups is to experience coexistence. Coexistence helps to increase the level of understanding among the people. It acquaints us with each other's traditions, customs, and ways of life. That means staying together, we become familiar with each other's traditions and the lifestyle, different functions that are celebrated. We learn to respect each other's way of life. We even adopt certain traditions from others. This helps to increase the feeling of unity in the society. Like when there is Diwali, everyone celebrates Diwali together, or Christmas, or Eid, or any religious festival. This social unity helps us to face many natural and social calamities together. So, this is all we call as diversity is our strength. The second point, that is the principle of secularism. Indian society consists of people following different religions. Our constitution has made important provisions to ensure that all religious communities will have the freedom to worship according to their faith and to help develop a feeling of mutual understanding. That means we should not question the celebration of other religions. We should be understanding. A mutual understanding is a must in a diverse culture like ours. India is an important secular nation of the world, and this principle of secularism is very important to us. We have great linguistic and religious diversity in our country. In order to preserve this diversity in a sound and healthy manner, we have accepted the principle of secularism. So you can see in this picture that Indian person is formed through these different religions which are mentioned here. So we respect each other's religions. Every person has the freedom of worship as per their religion or the religion of their choice. So you can choose your religion. Nobody can force your religion on you. There can be no discrimination among people on the basis of their religion. The people of all religions are treated equally by the state. These are the principles of secularism. What's more, opportunities for education, means of livelihood, and government jobs are made available to all. There is no discrimination on the basis of religion. So you can proudly say we are one. There are special provisions in the Constitution for the protection of religious and linguistic minorities. Minorities are free to protect and preserve their linguistic and cultural identities. They are also free to bring about the development of their own communities through education. The principle of secularism has helped to maintain religious harmony in Indian society. So, every person, whether it is in a city life or in a village, or whether any minority class, everyone is free to develop their community. The principle of secularism has helped to maintain religious harmony in the Indian society. Now we shall move towards the third point of the lesson, that is the contribution of society to our development. What do we learn by living in a society? What values, qualities do we imbibe? Let us see how society helps to develop our personality. We all will agree that the society influences our behavior to a greater extent. So let's see the most important qualities or values that are required for a society to develop. The first one, cooperation. All societies are based on mutual cooperation between individuals and the community. The very existence of the society depends on the cooperation between individuals. Cooperation is the process of sharing and helping each other in solving problems and removing difficulties. A family cannot remain together without an attitude of cooperation among its members. So, in house, we see how each and every member cooperates with other to live a peaceful and happy life. The same is true of society. Lack of cooperation hampers our progress. Day to day life will also not run smoothly if there is no cooperation. So, cooperation makes interdependence in society healthier and allows inclusion of everybody in the society. It is a process of inclusion and of moving ahead, taking along all sections of society. That means we must cooperate with each other. We must cooperate with efforts aimed at the education and development of girls and the weaker and deprived sections of our society. For this purpose, obtain information about the relevant government schemes. In this picture, you can see the two pictures which show some government schemes. Ministry of Women and Child Development schemes is shown in the first picture, and second picture reads as Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. It promotes girl education. So, discussing together what you can do for the development of these sections of a society. Share the important points from your discussions with students of other classes as well. Now, let's move on to the next important value. After cooperation, we are going to learn about tolerance and understanding. Just as there is cooperation in the society, so also at times there can be differences of opinions, disputes, and conflicts. Disputes and conflicts arise when there is lack of agreement in the opinions, ideas, and views of the people. So there can be disputes and conflicts, means quarrels and arguments when there are differences in opinions. Prejudices or misconceptions about each other can also lead to conflicts. Now, what is prejudices? Prejudices means assumption which is not based on actual experience or reason. So, it is just assuming something. And misconceptions means incorrect view or opinion based on faulty thinking. No man is perfect. Sometimes we can have misconceptions due to incorrect view. So, prejudices or misconceptions about each other can lead to conflicts. However, it is in nobody's interest to keep a conflict going on for a long time. People find a way to resolve conflicts through compromise and understanding. Thus, conflicts can end if people make efforts to understand each other and show a spirit of tolerance. So, tolerance comes here wherever there are conflicts. If a person shows tolerance and understanding, then those conflicts can be resolved. An understanding attitude leads to a lot of new learning. Learning tolerance is vital to world peace. We accept new ideas. This helps to further enrich our social life. We become more tolerant. Society provides us an opportunity to learn this simple method of maintaining well being and peace in society. Not only in society but in the world also. Now, let's see if you can do it. You too may have made some compromises. Some such experience are given here. You will add more experiences of your own. I'm going to list three experiences here. First one, the hall is packed full of students, or the classroom is packed full of students. You see a person standing. You move over a little on your bench to make room for that person. So, what you're doing here? Yes, you are being considerate. You're doing a compromise where you would have sat two-person with sufficient distance and space easily. You might have done this in your past in the classroom, adjusting on the bench for a person who did not have space in the class or in the hall. So, this is one experience. Another one, you want a cycle with gears, but your parents have to pay your sister's school fees first. So, you give up your demand. So, that is another understanding that you are showing. Means you're compromising for a better, happy life at home. Another experience, the third one, your family was able to sort out a dispute with the neighbors over the boundary of the field without going to the court. Your neighbor, Sopin, is now a good friend of yours. So, see how indifferences and disputes and conflicts can be solved by mutual understanding and tolerance. Now, let's learn about an opportunity to perform different roles. In society, we play different roles. In school, you are a student. At home, you are a son to your parents, grandson to your grandparents. Okay? Each individual has several roles, and the responsibilities and duties of every role are well defined. While playing these roles at home and outside, we form bonds with many people. However, changes may occur in the parts we play. Try this. Look at the picture here. Spot the picture that clearly defines your role today. Discuss the new roles that you will have to carry out after 20 days or after 20 years rather. So, you might say that now I'm the son of my parents. I'm also a student. As you see in this picture here, I'm a student. I'm a member of Friends of Children's Society. I am a cleanliness in charge or ambassador. I'm also a sports person. Some of you may be class representative. Okay, or and also if you have your grandparents still with you, you can say that I am the grandson of my grandparents or granddaughter of my grandparents, member of your friends circle in the school. All these are the roles, different roles played by you right now. After 20 years, you will see yourself as a professional person, a grown up man or a woman who has different responsibilities. So, let's learn about the last part of this chapter, that is regulation of society. In order that society functions smoothly, some rules are required. Just as we have school rules, there are some society rules also. In ancient times, society was mostly regulated with the help of traditions. But in modern times, along with the traditions, laws are needed. Law is different from the traditions and customs. Law means you can be punished for it if you don't follow the rules and regulations given by the law. The regulation of society through laws and traditions is carried out by different organizations and institutions. The government bodies at the local level also play an important role in the process of regulation of society. So, dear students, in this way we have completed our second chapter in civics named Diversity in Society. Hope you have followed this chapter. Do read it from the textbook for a better understanding. Stay safe, keep learning, and thank you.